Feature Friday.
The freshest. Alright, so we're gonna go to the absolute complete opposite next.
Right.
Because
Oh, Jesus Christ.
yeah, because it is the absolute complete opposite. We're going to listen to Luciano Pavarotti, Nessun Dorma, because we cannot make an Italian special and not include a legend like this.
I thought we were gonna add obviously Bocelli as well, Andrea Bocelli, but we have heard him before on the channel.
We actually have heard a lot of his music at home. So.
But I don't think I have heard like a full piece by
Luciano
Pavarotti. I have no idea if I actually have. So I thought this might be a cool.
Ooh, this is for me one of the most inspiring artists to watch. I watched a lot when I was training. Since I was young, actually, I used to watch a lot of opera singers. For the sake of vocal training, and I always used to get lost and mesmerized just by what was happening, rather than being able to pick out technique and actually do the homework that I was supposed to be doing. I'd be like, wow. So the whole time. So I'm really looking forward to see your reaction to this. I'm excited. So here we go.
Yeah, let's give it a go.
This was in 1994, so just a year
I wasn't
before
even born then.
I was born.
You were born in 95, right?
Yeah, just a year before.
I was born in the 70s. Puccini.
Yeah, that's the author of the.
Sounds like Puchero.
Oh, listen to those to the choir. Oof! Oh,
He's got such an empowering sort of body language, isn't he?
look how he prepares.
It's so weird. What's that coming out of his chest? Oh, diaphragm, I should say.
It is. That's a very good note. It's coming out of his chest, like the resonance. Wow, dude!
It's like connected to like another world at the moment.
He is. But did you see how well connected to each word and how easily modulated it was on his mouth? The amount of work that is going through his body, the back of his body, the anchoring, how he's leaning forward very, very peculiarly, but the whole of his body weight is like right on his back. That airflow that's happening there is absolutely immaculate.
You know how some like vocal coaches and stuff or like teachers sort of say like breathe with your diaphragm and all that stuff, or like sing with your belly kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you said he was singing with his chest.
No, so what I meant by that is that the resonance is coming from his chest. Like,
how do you make your resonance come from your chest?
So you
Doesn't
get
it natural come from your chest? So when I'm talking right now, isn't it coming from my chest?
Yes, but and some people, for example me, my resonance doesn't naturally lie on my chest. Right. So I have to force myself to be more resonant by pushing my larynx down to reach further into resonance.
Am I pushing him down yet?
No, you're just pushing your jaw forward. That's a completely different maneuver, but yeah.
Jesus Christ, I cannot control my larynx.
So what
it's like saying I want my pancreas to do this.
Well, in vocal training, to help you understand what's happening in your larynx.
I'm gonna guess. Visualization.
Yes. Absolutely, 100%. So what you do is that you visualize the movement of the larynx, and naturally, by force of mental power,
really,
then you can and a lot more trickery.
Yeah.
You begin to understand the movement of your larynx, and then therefore you are able to start understanding what to do to help them.
So you sort of like go into this state of hyper awareness.
Absolutely, you are so aware of your body. Yes,
right.
Even the little modulation of the words, the tiny breaths, the way that you want to elongate a note, everything becomes heightened.
Right.
As you can see, he prepared so very subtly before he started singing, and the voice came out of nowhere. No, the voice came out of all that muscle power that is in the back of his neck and like the back of the back muscles. It's so cool because it looks so effortless.
I thought you were coughing. Oh, right.
No.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
For dramatic purposes only.
Yes.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Theatrics.
Yes, I love him. He's amazing.
Yeah, he is. Wait, he has this sort of very like empowering sort of aura to him. Well, he had passed away, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when did he pass away?
2007.
2007. Yeah, so he was. But in that moment, he had this sort of empowering, like, presence to him as he sang.
He will forever be one of the greatest.
Yeah, well, is it Dimash that also looks up to him or something like that?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, he's one of the greatest voices in tenor speaking, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And you see how he's not...
His neck barely moves.
Oh my god. Bravo! Bravo!
Is that no wasted movement sort of thing?
No, so did you see how there was not a single movement of leaning forward, there was not a single movement of leaning back? The power that was coming out of those notes that were incredibly difficult to reach, by the way, in that type of resonance and in that vocal setting, are very dependent of the airflow and how he manages the airflow. So the non-movement and the hyper-awareness of the whole of his body created this box of resonance right inside of his mouth. So the soft palate lifts at the back of his mouth.
Right.
But everything up here becomes wider from the back into the front. So it becomes like a resonant box from a guitar. So it creates even more resonance, and the effort of the belting of reaching the higher notes becomes not so relevant, and it's all about the mastery of all those things together.
Right. So that's why also it seems to be like effortless.
But wow, there's so much effort going on there. I can tell you.
It was just very peculiar because most singers you see, they sort of like they move or whatever, but he stayed so like steady. Solid. Yeah,
very
literally.
Grounded, a very grounded artist. Yeah.
Like you very unlikely you'll be able to push him away or something.
Absolutely, you probably won't.
But is he tense?
No, there's tension in I would say the back of his neck. So the anchoring muscles underneath here, the rib cage and towards the back. Perhaps maybe on the intercostal muscles wrapping around the back as well, perhaps, but nothing in the front.
His latissimus dorsi.
That's right. Yes, good anchoring, good engagement, but very little tension in the front of the abdominal wall.
I see. That kind of makes sense. Yeah, go on.
Look at that modulation; it's insane. 1994. It's gorgeous.
Damn.
It's angelical.
Imagine that's what heaven looks like.
It's probably what it sounds like, yes. Wow.
Oh, such a weird effect.
Bravo, it's so hypnotizing.
Jesus.
Bravo! Bravo!
Bloody hell.
That's insane. Hell. That's insane. I don't think anybody understands. Like, wow, that is insane.
It's so crazy. So the impact, the effect it has on, I don't know, like that type of singing. Very rarely do you have singing that has a unique type of feeling. Like opera seems to have that feeling, that effect on people consistently. You know, especially the greatest to ever do it. It has this sort of I don't know. It's a moment of disconnect, but also connection with something else. You know, it's like this.
It taps into like a higher power.
But we were talking about this earlier, like, because I heard Joe Rogan talk about it in his podcast, where he mentioned the idea of good comedy doesn't come. You don't write good comedy; it comes to you. So it's like this idea of the muse or a higher power or whatever you'd like to call it, of creative power, right? And when you listen, I feel like only if you create do you kind of understand that concept, that you're just like some sort of receptor, and you're not the creator of the signal. You're simply a receptor of the signal that comes to you at the moment, right time, whatever. But when you experience moments like those, especially if you're there live, or even this bizarre experience that we have, and like, you know, you're watching us watch it, and we're watching something, it's still there's some performances that, I don't know, allow you to understand that, like, there is something else at play, like that, something more. Like music has this weird capability of connecting past physical boundaries.
Absolutely.
And everyone there, like in that room, in that arena, and here in this room, felt it. It's like you became elevated for a second. You know, it's so bizarre, the effect it has on your body, and those vibrations and sound waves, what they cause in your brain, and they change your state, mental and emotionally. Yeah. It's very bizarre. Like it's very, very peculiar. And I find that it's probably, opera is probably one of those genres. Hence why it's been so such a staple genre of humanity, right? Of that type of singing. It's been forever. And it's been such a staple of humanity, because I think it's the only one that, because it resonates on like those vibrations are so unique. You don't hear them when you're out and about. Just when you're out and about, you don't hear them in those sound waves are not the same. You know, so maybe because they're such a shock to the system, or they just, like, the skill level is so high, and there's also so high or so low, that they cause this like weird impact on you. You know.